Building a high quality content team with all of these roles will cost you well over $100,000 per year. I've just replaced every single one of them for less than $50 a month in total, using mostly free AI tools to get results like this. I spent the entire year testing literally hundreds of tools that promise to explode your business overnight. And what I realized is that the best tools weren't the expensive, overhyped ones. They were often the free and even dirt cheap ones, like the last two, which completely blew my mind. Let's start with what's often the most overlooked role in any content team, the researcher. Because before a single word gets written, before you design a thumbnail or even record a video, someone has to go out and gather all the raw materials. That means digging into articles, watching hours of YouTube content, reading reports, pulling quotes, finding stats, identifying what's already been said, and more importantly, what hasn't, so your content is both high quality and unique. If you were to hire someone to help with this, you would likely pay around $1,500 per month for a part-time content researcher. Or for exactly 100% less than that, you can use Notebook LM, which is completely free. Notebook LM is basically like having a research assistant that not only remembers everything, but actually understands it. All you've got to do is just upload all the content from the sources you trust in any format. It can be YouTube videos, audio recordings, PDFs, even entire books, and it creates what's basically your own completely indexed, searchable, and interactive research document. What makes it different from something like ChatGPT is that it doesn't guess or hallucinate. Every answer it gives is pulled directly from your sources, and it also cites those sources after every single line in its answer. I've been using Notebook LM for months now, and honestly, it hasn't hallucinated even once. If you try asking it for something that's not in the source, it will literally just tell you straight up that that information isn't in the source. Unlike ChatGPT that will just try to make something up. That's why I trust it so much. Let me give you a real example of how I use it. When I made this video about Ali Abdaal, I knew I wanted to include some direct quotes from him. Normally, I would have to either pay someone to go through hours of these interviews and pull the quotes, or I would spend those hours doing it myself. But with Notebook LM, I basically just put all of his recent interviews and asked it to find me direct quotes that I can put in the script based on the topic. And in an instant, I got all the quotes along with the title of the video each quote was gotten from. All I had to do was go to the video, click on captions, search the beginning of the quotes, and instantly I could see exactly where it was said and pull it into my edit. Something that would have taken me hours or even days to piece together manually, I was able to do in just a few minutes. It's honestly so insane just how easy this process is. And as if that's not cool enough, there's also the audio overview feature where it basically uses all of your sources to generate like a mini AI podcast with two hosts who explain the topic back to you like a conversation. And honestly, it sounds shockingly human.
To cut through all the noise are a few takeaways you can actually remember and, find that thread linking all his advice together.
And that thread, it's really key.
If you learn better by listening, this is a great way to turn literally any written piece of text into an audio explainer for free. They've even started rolling out video overviews, which are basic animated summaries of your research. This is a great way to get a simple but effective visual representation of your topic. Okay, so throughout this video, we're going to have a live cost meter. So down here is what it will cost to hire a team to do all of these things per month, and we'll add to it as we go. While here is how much we're spending on AI tools to do the same task. Right now, we have 1,500 to 0. And we're just getting started. Trust me, it gets even crazier, and the 9th tool genuinely blew me away by just how good it was for how little it costs. Writing is the most important part of any business. Sales, marketing, branding, product, none of it works if you can't communicate your ideas properly. Now, since this video is about building a content team specifically, we're only going to be focusing on content writing. So YouTube scripts, newsletters, social media posts, things like that. The problem most entrepreneurs face isn't that they don't know what to say. It's that they just don't know how to communicate it clearly and persuasively. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs hire ghostwriters. They basically just brain dump their ideas on the writer, who will then turn it into something that's polished, easy to understand, and persuasive. However, a good ghostwriter will cost you around $2,000 per month minimum. But for 1% of that, you can get 2 AI tools that will do the exact same job much faster. Let's start with VoicePal. VoicePal is an AI ghostwriter that was built by Ali Abdaal. In fact, he literally built this tool because he didn't want to spend $5,000 a month hiring a ghostwriter. The concept is simple. You open the app, hit record, and just talk. You tell the AI everything you can think of about a particular topic, and if you forget anything or skip over important details, it will ask you smart follow-up questions to help you flesh it out, just like a human ghostwriter would. And once you're done, it gives you a menu of different formats you can write: blog post, newsletter, video script, Twitter thread, and it drafts the first version for whichever one you select instantly. I usually use it while taking walks because that's where my best ideas come to me. So I just put on my AirPods, take a walk for 30 minutes, and by the time I'm back home, I've got 3,000 steps and a full first draft ready to go. Then I take that draft plus the research doc I generated earlier using Notebook LM and drop both into the next AI tool, ScriptPilot. ScriptPilot is a custom GPT I built myself based on my 5+ years of scripting experience that I've gotten over 25 million views. It's trained specifically to write for YouTube, and not just any writing, but content that grabs attention, holds retention, and drives sales. It's been trained on audience psychology and YouTube retention tactics, so it understands how to structure a script so that viewers not only watch to the end, but take action when they get there. This is how I'm able to create high-quality YouTube scripts that get views and drive sales in less than 30 minutes of work. I use the completely free version of VoicePal, while ScriptPilot costs just $19, not per month or even per year, but forever. That's right, you pay once and get to own it forever, including every single future update. If we spread that cost over a year, that's $1.50 to replace a $2,000 a month ghostwriter, which brings our total so far to $3,500 for the human team and $1.50 per month for the AI tools, and we're just 2 rows in. Visuals make information a lot easier to digest, but I'll be the first to admit that I'm not a designer. In a dream scenario, I'd hire a head designer that can do all my designs for me, everything from thumbnails to the infographics I use in my videos. For this, you're looking at spending between $4,000 and $6,000 a month minimum. Or you can get 80% of the results with 2 free AI tools. First is Napkin AI. All you do is give Napkin some text, maybe something that explains the content creation workflow from idea to upload. And in less than 30 seconds, it will give you a clean infographic that explains the entire content much easier. You can select between all the different visual options, whether you want a flowchart, timeline, or a layered diagram. You can also tweak the results that you get, things like changing the colors, fonts, or even the words in each section to dial it down perfectly. Once you're done, you can export it in literally any format that you need. With this free tool, you can make everything from visuals to make your videos more easily digestible to infographics for your ads or even PowerPoint presentations. You can even ask Napkin to generate AI text for you, and you get high quality visuals from just a single prompt. This is the more technical side of design. For the more creative side, I use Google's newly released and very aptly named Nano Banana. This tool is legitimately insane, and I cannot go over everything it can do in this video alone, so I'll leave a link to an entire video I watched that covers Nano Banana in detail. But just as a general overview, Nano Banana can turn someone like me, who doesn't know how to design but has good taste and knows what good design should look like, into a pretty competent designer. You're saving at least $4,000 a month in designer fees using 2 completely free AI tools. That takes our total for the human team to $7,500 a month, and we're still at $1.50 for the AI tools. This is genuinely insane how much value you're getting. This is the person whose job it is to zoom out, analyze the data, both yours and your competitors, and make big decisions like what videos to make next, what's working in your niche right now, what thumbnails and titles are dominating, where are the hidden gaps you can capitalize on. If you've ever felt stuck staring at your analytics, not understanding anything, or browsing your niche for hours, wondering what to make next, this is what you're missing. Over the past year, I've seen so many videos with titles like "Forget ChatGPT, use this AI tool instead." But I'll be honest with you, 90% of the time, they're either just trying to get clicks because negativity gets views, or they're trying to sell you their own tool, which is fine. But while a lot of new AI tools look flashy, ChatGPT is still the king of consumer AI software, and you don't even have to take my word for it. One of the world's best tech YouTubers, Mr. Who's the Boss, made a video comparing 4 major AI tools, and ChatGPT came out on top by a significant margin. It's the one tool that can do almost everything and do it to a really high degree. Now, I don't just use it for basic prompts like give me video ideas for solopreneurs. That's what everyone does, so you get the same answer everyone gets, basic and repetitive. Instead, I've built a system. First, I go to the top 10 to 20 channels in my niche. I take screenshots of their best performing videos, but I don't just sort it by most viewed video because that often doesn't tell the full story. Most times, the oldest videos are also the most viewed videos just because they've been there the longest. Instead, I sort the videos by something called an outlier score. An outlier is a video that performed way better than the channel's last 10 uploads. This gives you a better idea of the video topic that broke through the algorithm. You can easily sort any channel by outlier score using the free Chrome extension from 1 of 10. I'll leave a link in the description to it down below. Then I feed all those screenshots into ChatGPT and I ask it to analyze all the channels and tell me what's working across different channels and show me ideas I can capitalize on for my own channel, and also content gaps that I'm missing. This is primarily what AI is really good at, analyzing large amounts of data instantly. In seconds, I get a full breakdown, so it will tell me what topics are currently working in my niche, plus it also suggests exact titles and hook angles that I can emulate. I also use it to audit my own channel. I go to YouTube Studio, go to the analytics and click export as a CSV to export all the data from my channel as a spreadsheet. Then I simply upload that to ChatGPT and ask it to do a full audit and tell me things like what all the top performing videos have in common and what I can do to replicate their success. That's how I was able to create this video that currently has 3,000 views and has made me over $200 in product sales. I've even trained my own custom GPT strategist that understands my niche, tone, audience, and how I think. So the ideas it generates are honestly 80% of the way to a great video instantly. When it comes to content, ideas are everything. So having this volume of high quality ideas almost guarantees that you get a viral video in due time. If you've ever struggled with questions like, who exactly am I making this video for? What's the emotional trigger behind this message? ChatGPT helps you answer all of that. It will look at your channel's data, and you can also share all the comments you've gotten as screenshots and ask it to build a detailed persona based on who's engaging with your content. It will give you an insanely detailed profile, including things like age, profession, pain points, aspirations, and even their fears and objections. From there, you can ask what kind of messaging would resonate with this person, what kind of hook could grab their attention in the first 5 seconds. This is how you create highly targeted content that your ideal customer avatar just can't look away from. A high quality YouTube strategist can charge up to $10,000 a month. In fact, I have a friend who charges $2,000 a month for just 4 1-hour calls. But for literally 1% of that at $20 a month, you get unlimited access to a really high quality strategist, especially once you learn how to prompt it properly. That brings our current total to $9,500 per month for the human team and just $21.50 for AI. Now the price is getting kinda silly, and we've not even gotten to the craziest part yet. Editing is the part of content creation that most people love the least, and honestly, it's for a good reason. Out of everything we've talked about today, editing takes the most time. And it's not just how much time it takes, it's also the manual and repetitive nature of it all. Stuff like trying to cut out background noise from your audio, removing filler words, cutting out random pauses, adding captions, jump cuts, J cuts, L cuts is literally boiled down by 1,000 cuts. Yet ironically, editing is also one of the most important parts of the process. It's the final layer of polish, the difference between a video people click away from and a video that holds attention for 10 minutes straight. That's why for most creators, editing is the first thing they outsource. And that's also why a solid editor will run you at least $2,500 per month. And that's for basic editing only. We're not talking about motion design, color grading, or high level polish. But with just 2 AI tools, you can now get 80% of the way to a great edit faster, cheaper, and in some cases actually better than humans. First is Adobe Podcast AI. You no longer have to buy a $1,000 microphone or record in a sound treated room to get high quality audio. What you're listening to right now is actually the audio that came straight out of the camera. Here's how it originally sounded. Here's how it sounds after passing it through Adobe Podcast AI. It doesn't just remove the background noise, it enhances it. It makes it clearer, fuller, warmer, like it was actually recorded with pro level gear in a treated studio. You can upload a 10-minute audio clip and get this next level sound engineering completely for free. You don't even need to know anything about noise removers, compression, EQ, or any of that stuff. If you already have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, then you get even more. Longer uploads, audio cleanup from within video files, and direct integration into your existing workflow. I've used this for dozens of talking head videos, podcasts, and voiceovers. My partner makes UGC videos for companies, and we use this all the time when she has to record in less than ideal situations. It's so good that I haven't had the need to open Adobe Audition in months. Once my audio is clean, I move into Blink AI for the full video edit. Blink is a text-based AI-powered video editor built specifically for YouTubers. You upload your raw footage and it instantly cuts out all the silences, the filler words, and the bad takes. It also auto-generates a transcript that you can use to review all the suggested cuts and also make your own cuts. So you're basically editing a video as if you were editing a Word document. And since I read way faster than I listen, this makes editing so much faster and honestly more enjoyable too. Blink also does way more than just cuts. It can auto-generate captions for the full video, add dynamic zoom to jump cuts, and even pull relevant B-roll from story blocks to overlay automatically. It basically takes out all the manual labor of video editing. Once the edit is done, you can either export the timeline to any of the big 4 video editors, which keeps all the cuts intact so you can make even finer adjustments later on, or you can export it straight as a video file directly. This alone saves me 4 to 6 hours per video. If I make 6 videos in a month, that's an entire day back in my calendar, which I can now spend on higher leverage work like generating ideas or improving my digital products. Adobe Podcast AI is free, while Glink AI costs just $20 a month. That brings our human team up to an insane $12,000 a month, while our AI is just at $41.50 every month. Honestly, that's insane. Every great team has that one person who is never in the spotlight, but without them, nothing works. That's the operations assistant. They do the little things that turn into big things when they are ignored. Most of the time, that person is you. You're compressing that massive 4K video that keeps crashing your laptop, extracting the audio from a video so you can turn it into a podcast, converting videos from MOVs to MP4 so Instagram doesn't butcher the quality. You spend hours looking for specific tools to do all of these different and unique tasks that could have been spent on your business instead. This is exactly why I use Superfile.ai. It's not sexy and it doesn't try to be. It's there to do all the dirty work. You have access to pretty much any kind of file management and organizational tool you need. You need to recite 10 thumbnails to YouTube specs? Done. Need to extract just the audio from a 4K video? Done. Need to compress that 8 gig ProRes file into something you can upload without spending your entire afternoon watching a progress bar? Done. And what I love is that it's entirely browser based. You don't have to install 1 million different apps. Just use the tool you want when you want. And you have access to every single one of the tools completely for free. This tool doesn't save you as much money as it does time, because most entrepreneurs without physical assistance just end up doing it themselves. But still, you're saving yourself at least $1,000 a month of your own time that could be better spent elsewhere. And with that, the final numbers are in. We've got $13,000 a month for the human team and a mind-boggling $41.50 per month for the AI tools. That's honestly less than the price of a meal at a decent restaurant. Now, let's be real for a second. If you had $13,000 a month to spend on a full content team, you would absolutely get way better content than what any of these AI tools can produce. These tools can't replace world-class talent, but what they can do and what makes them so powerful is that they get you 80% of the results while spending 0.1% of the cost. What we're witnessing right now is the next big wave of creative democratization. First, YouTube came along and said you don't need a Hollywood studio or an agency to make a show that reaches millions of people. Then TikTok came and said, you know what, you don't even need a camera crew, just your phone and an idea. Now, AI is saying you don't need a $100,000 content team to build a personal brand or promote your business, just a few tools and an idea. That's the real shift that's happening here. Forget the doom and gloom that AI is replacing humans. In some ways it is, sure, but in other ways, it's empowering millions of people and lowering the barrier to entry so more people can play the game. If you're someone with great ideas, a unique point of view, or a message to share, you no longer have to wait. You don't need to save up to get fancy equipment or a camera. You don't need to quit your job to have time to edit consistently. You don't have to burn yourself out while doing everything alone in the beginning. For the first time ever, you can compete not based on your budget, but based on what you have to offer. So no, these tools won't replace top-tier content creators, but they will create a whole new wave of them. The only question left is, are you going to be one of them?